Okay, so it's just now 2:02. I think I'll go ahead and get started with just my welcome and housekeeping notes, and maybe we'll get a few more people in. Oh, good, it's sunny in downtown. Excellent. We'll go ahead and get started. Everybody, welcome. My name is Sean. I am the program manager for MiDEAL, the state of Michigan's extended purchasing program, and I'd like to welcome you to our MiDEAL training series. Today, we are joined by Kelsey Drosty with the Sigma Center for Excellence team. Kelsey is procurement and vendor department specialist with the state of Michigan, and she has over 5 years of experience in the Sigma financial and vendor self-service environments. She provides support to stakeholders, state agencies, and staff, maintains and analyzes data and software applications, as well as manages and maintains local entity processes within the Sigma environment. So obviously that comes in handy for us today. Before I turn it over to Kelsey, I do want to walk over a few housekeeping notes. So we are recording the webinar and it will be added to the MiDEAL YouTube channel for future reference. I also have closed captioning on, so you can look at the bottom of your screen to see that. And with such a great turnout, all the phone lines are muted. However, you can submit questions. We prefer you use the Q&A button instead of the chat, just because if it's a question we don't have a chance to get to, we can get to it after the webinar concludes and we can answer those, whereas the chat doesn't save. And we also encourage you to participate we have a couple polling questions that we'll ask during the webinar. And then we have a survey that you'll get as soon as you exit the webinar. So we ask you to do that. So now I'd like to turn it over to Chelsea. I said Chelsea, it's Kelsey. I just gave you a new name. No biggie.
It happens. We're good.
All
right.
right. So let me advance here because I did all the talking here and didn't actually show you the housekeeping notes. There we go. So do you want to run through today's agenda?
Yeah. Yep. All right. Yeah. So pretty much today we are going to go over the whole local entities experience within Sigma. So we are going to cover what Sigma is and what that means to you as a local entity user. Go into an intro to Sigma procurement as seen by localities. Later on, I will be able to do a demo within there, and we can show how to post, for example, like a request for proposal or a bid, depending on which terminology you guys use. We'll also cover how to log into Sigma, my login, and what that registration process looks like, how to create and post the bid in Sigma. I'll also be able to bring up our vendor self-service site, and we'll be able to locate some of the bid opportunities that are currently in there and just kind of show a rough draft one that we have previously posted in there that covers our example today.
Wonderful. Okay, so I think I am supposed to ask a question and I've already advanced, so I will unadvance. So let's get our first polling question up. I'm going to launch it now. So this is a true false. There are over 225,000 vendors actively registered in Sigma. Let us know if you think that is true or false. Okay, we've got some answers coming in. Let's see if that's a trick number or not. All right, I'm going to end the poll and post that. So we got the majority of the folks answered true. Is that correct?
That is true. Yeah, over 225,000 vendors in that are currently using VSS, which is great. So good job on that.
All right, so you got slide 4 up. Are you good to go?
All right, perfect. Yeah. So with Sigma, it kind of encompasses a lot of the state end users. So overall, Sigma, of course, the state acronym stands for Statewide Integrated Government Management Application. And to us, this is our overall financial software that the state uses. So it covers anything from accounting to budget, payment processing, e-procurement grants, as well as that vendor portal. We were able to replace multiple legacy systems into one, which has been great. And it helps for a better end user experience with that, as well as with this new baseline functionality, we're able to ensure technology technology upgrades as we advance with the system. And actually, while we're on that point too of the technology upgrades, just coming in the next year or so, Sigma is kind of getting a little bit of a facelift where we are updating the overall look and feel of Sigma. So what we cover today, it will be updated in some fashion. Overall, the process that I explained today will be the same steps and the same tasks that you would be completing, but the overall look will be updated. On one of the later slides here, we do refer to one of our websites, which include all of our training material and that. So all of that will be updated and will make it an easy transition for you all. But as we see here, we have over 10,000 core users, over 50,000 state employees that are currently using the system, as well as with that poll question, over 225,000 vendors. The vendors within the system that accounts for vendors, payees, customers, any of the government accounts that handle any of the tax and banking information, also looking for bid opportunities and grant opportunities, which we'll be able to touch on some of those pieces today too.
Great. You want to do slide or poll number 2
Cool.
before we advance? All right. Question is, there have been over 600 local user accounts created in Sigma thus far. This would be a true or false. So 600 local user accounts. And probably a few extra after today.
The fingers are crossed.
I know.
Yeah.
See
and with it being nice out, yeah, you never know with the construction. So,
all right, we're going to end the poll and share results. So we have quite a few that are guessing that is true. Is that the accurate number?
That is, yep. With the asterisk of there could be more after today. So.
Yes, I like it.
Yeah.
Great.
But yeah, we've had a growing number of users every week, every month. We keep getting new accounts, new users under existing accounts, and it's just been a great process so far. So hopefully we can get a few more people signed up if this fits for them today.
Question. We did have a question come through. I'm not sure if this is, so it's saying, what is the time and attendance system that the state employees are using? Is that through Sigma?
Yes. Yep. I believe that's through employee self-service. I'm not too familiar with the time and expensing, but yeah, there are different like subsections within Sigma, but that's all handled through the employee self-service application.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, you're on for slide 5.
All right. And after our meeting today, this PowerPoint with all of these links will be sent out and provided. So this is one of kind of our local home zone link here that will take us to the local units of government Sigma website. Here's where all of the base information is. This website includes the Access My Login that you can use anytime to get you into Sigma, to create any bids if you need to. Also on this website, there's local entity tutorials, which are all video based. So we show how to create a My Login account. We show how to do a request for proposal, as well as how to show a solicitation response if you ever received a paper response and needed to manually type that in, as well as notice of intent to award and evaluation processes. And then we also do provide training materials, so how to input a bid advertisement, which would be the same thing as a RFP, as well as how to amend a bid and add an attachment, just from the feedback that we've received over the years from our current local users. This was kind of the information that has been most helpful to them. But with that website, that is where I would recommend everybody to start. It just kind of gives you a base overview of what Sigma is for the local entity users, with the environment for them being Sigma procurement. That overall, the idea will be for users to post specifically construction bids that are over $10,000. So with that,
do you want me to open that link while we're on it?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, let's see.
That sounds
Somebody
good.
has requested it. Let's see if I can get it to cooperate with me. Okay. Now, I don't know if I'll need to stop and reshare. Did it show up?
I can see it. Hopefully others
Yes,
can.
everybody should. And I also put the link in, I will put the link in the chat.
Cool. Cool. Yep. So, which is super nice when you come to this page because it says who is a local unit. So it will list off the community colleges, the universities, any of the local municipalities. It will confirm right off the bat that you were in the right place. From the prior page for this one, there's going to be information about vendors, grantees, and information like that. So this one really gears into just the locals environment itself. So there are a couple notes on here. Once you do register for your account, there is that note option here that says any of the new requests do take 3 to 5 business days to process. So that is normal. So once you complete your account and request access, which we will talk about here in the next slides, you will receive emails back and forth from Sigma procurement for that. We also have our note here with the system availability. So the system is up from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday. As we also have our sync cycles that are based every 2 hours. So from 8 to 4, and then we have our nightly 6 p.m. sync cycle. Along the bottom there too is where we have the local entity tutorials. So those, if you click them, they will all take you to YouTube video links. So the first 4 there are all video tutorials where we go over different scenarios in each one of those. So feel free to view those as you need. And then the last 2 links are with the job aids, which will open up into a PDF file for you there.
I have a question. They were asking, how should an agency view Sigma as it relates to BidNet application for advertising bid proposals? I would say it's very similar, correct? That once a member posts a bid in Sigma, it then gets published to any vendor that has identified as someone that could service that specific commodity or service.
Right. So with that, it will be visible to all if it's not restricted, which on all of the locals, when they have the ability to do that, but they don't really check those options for that. So normally everything is just posted out there for all to view. As far as like the email notification goes, that is going to be led either by the commodity code selected or a vendor list. So just depending on the use within your solicitation, that could differ those settings. But as long as you are posting your bid out and open, any vendor that is signed up to receive notification through that commodity code will be sent it, and then they can view it right after that the sync cycle completes in VSS.
Perfect. All right, so back, you want me to advance to slide 6 now?
Yeah, that sounds good. All right, perfect. So this is our what to expect page. So once you go to that website, there is a link on there that says sign up, or with that my login access. So with that, it will take you to the Sigma my login screen, and there's going to be 3 steps that you have to complete for this. With it first, you're going to have to create your account, which will take you through a profile information, security setup, and then your confirmation. And then you'll re-log back in with that same account information. And then request access for Sigma procurement. With this, I do have a step-by-step video that's located on that same webpage link that you can definitely view to follow through each of those steps that I just noted there. But overall, once you do complete creating your account and then requesting that your access to Sigma procurement, we in Sigma will receive the notification and begin the process of vetting the account, getting your account set up, and just working on that 3 to 5 day timeline to return you with all of your information for your new account. And with that, your account that you receive from Sigma Security will include a base department code, a unit code that you'll use when creating your solicitations, as well as that same My Login link to use when you log in. And then it also includes help desk information, which is great. That information is also provided on that same web page link, but we also have it in that email that we send you with your account information as well.
Okay, I was going to ask you a question, and you may have mentioned this. How long does it usually take to get the the login set up and back out to the members?
Yeah, so that overall so like creating your account can be done in minutes, as well as the requesting the Sigma procurement, but it does take 3 to 5 days from
Okay.
that point, just for us to internally set up your account. There's system cycles that we have to allow for, and fully getting the end user set up with all of the appropriate security access, and the links being available to you.
Thank you. That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure. So let's do poll 3 before we move to the next slide.
Yeah.
Okay, how often do you think the VSS, which is the site we were just looking at, sync cycles run in Sigma? So how often do you think we have hit cycles? Are we looking at every 2 hours, every 4 hours, or every 8 hours? So now you're going to be our tech guru. So, all right. Got some answers still coming in. All right, let's get that out there. So how often does that happen?
So it does occur every 2 hours. So kind of a mixed bag on that one.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
2 hours though. Yep. So the system does come up at 8 a.m., if not a little earlier some days, but normally it will sync at 8 a.m., 10 a.m., 12, 2, and 4. And then there's always a nightly sync as well too.
All right, I have another question before you go over this slide.
Yeah.
Let's see here. How can I find out who my organization administrator is? That's a great question.
Yeah, so that can either be yourself, or it would be mostly likely like your manager, your boss, whoever is above you for that, just as like a point of contact if you ever needed to get a hold of you or them in that situation. But normally,
if they don't know who the person is, would they just reach out to the number on the website to confirm and ask?
The organization would be your own. Like, so say if I'm Lansing Community College, for example, and if I just handle the postings for that, then it would have to be somebody internal to Lansing Community College. It wouldn't be anybody from the state side. It's going to be your own, either yourself, your boss, your manager, somebody within your organization that you're registering for.
Okay, I think what the question might have been gearing more towards is if like, for example, that college doesn't know who their person is and maybe somebody's left. I mean, is there a way to reach out to find out who actually has access to posts in there? Or is that you're saying you don't have access to that either?
So like if somebody's already
yeah,
registered?
Like say
Oh,
the community college is appointed, Susan to be the person to go in and post, but then Susan's gone and they don't quite know who is posting or who should be posting. And is that something that you would be able to help identify?
Yeah, so if they are signed up, we can definitely confirm that, but all of the accounts are locked after 90 days as well. So kind of giving you that security in that sense. So if somebody does retire, the account does remain as is, but it will get locked out after no use.
Okay. And then we had another question about Bid for Michigan. So we're currently signed up and occasionally using Bid for Michigan. How does Sigma differ from Bid for Michigan? Bid for Michigan. Does it make sense to be part of both? And I would say yes, because you're just getting an even larger audience for your solicitations. Do you agree?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. I'll let you take over on slide 7.
Oh,
I'll stop pestering you with questions.
No, that's perfect. No, those are great questions coming in. So here, so as far as like once you log into Sigma and have an account up, which we'll definitely cover here in the next slide, I just want to give a brief overview of what is expected and what would be needed to complete. Again, this is all covered in those helpful tutorial videos as well as in those job aids on that website. So feel free to refer to those and print those or save those onto your desktop for use while completing any of your solicitations. First, once you log into Sigma, you're going to be brought up with your homepage. Sigma allows 2 different sections. It's the application pages, which you're able to view like solicitation commodity codes, any notifications just to confirm if a vendor received one, as well as the document catalog, which you'll be able to use to search and actually create your solicitations from. And you can also view any past ones that you have completed from there. And then we will cover how to create and publish an RFP. The main sections and kind of like the bread and butter of the document are going to be the header, the commodity section, the commodity email push, which I briefly touched on before, that will be what alerts the vendors that you have posted a solicitation for. They will still be able to view it, but that's what really drives the email portion of that, as well as our publishing section on when you want your solicitation to view and when you want it to be able to close. And then touching just on that VSS sync cycle again. So once you have your solicitation submitted and in final, it will sync over to VSS on the next sync cycle. So say example, you completed one at 2:30, it will not be visible in Sigma until after the 4 o'clock sync completes. But that the sync cycle pretty much covers moving information from Sigma to VSS, as well as back from VSS, and brings it back into Sigma Financial as well.
Is the system available during syncs? So can they still log in and put their information in?
Oh yeah, yep.
Okay.
Yep, anything you do, it's just going to be live, but it just kind of cuts off at 2, and then whatever is created after 2 o'clock will then sync at 4.
Perfect.
For example, yep.
All right, slide 8.
Right, perfect. All right, so here, all right, Sean, I'm going to go ahead and
you're going to share
screen for it, and we will go through how to do a RFP here. So just give me a second here.
I went ahead and clicked stop sharing so you can have it.
Okay, cool. All right. All right, perfect. All right, so once you log into Sigma, this is what you will be greeted with. So this is our Sigma homepage here, and we do have the navigation here on the left with your application pages, as well as that document search that I was previously talking about. With the application pages, it lists off any of these that you are able to click on. The main ones that we've heard feedback for with the commodity section, the vendor customers, just to see who's registered with the state, as well as the vendor notification. You can view any questions and answers that you have, as well as vendor commodity, like seeing what vendors are registered for a commodity code. So these would be all just like little pages that you can go to just for a source of information and review. If you have any solicitations that are posted and you're curious of if there's been any responses against them, you can click on the open solicitation response and then view that information there and see how many responses are currently against your solicitation. But all of those are just going to be pages that are there for just knowledge, and you can use them or you cannot. Either way is totally fine on that, but they're just there for you if you're ever curious about a commodity code or what should be used, or if you want to know who's been notified. And then here under search is going to be our document catalog. So this is going to be where you can search for any solicitations that you have done, or if you need to enter in, say, a solicitation response for one of those like manual bids, if ever received, you would do so that from here as well. You can also search. So say we're going to look up any solicitations that we've posted under the code here. You would type in your RFP, your department that will be provided to you in your email that you receive from Sigma Security once we complete your account. And then as well as your unit that is also provided for you. But this will be the information that you will use going forward and you need to create your department. When you need to create your solicitation for that. And then you can view any of your old solicitations, or if you ever need to come back and modify one, you would do so using this document catalog. And again, I do have a video on this as well that goes through step by step on this. So always feel free after today, refer back to those YouTube videos and it will cover all this information today too. But yeah, we can definitely go in and create one here and just kind of go over all of the necessary fields for you and get a good feel of what posting a solicitation in Sigma looks like. So first, you will do that document catalog, type in your the code, which would be a request for a proposal, your department and unit, which are going to be specific to each one of you, and then go ahead and click create. And then we're going to use the auto numbering, which will generate our document ID here. And we'll go ahead and click create. So this is what the actual solicitation looks like when we are completing it. So everything kind of goes from the navigation panel here on the left, and then everything moves left to right as far as the tabs go. So once you click onto another section, it brings up a whole new fields to complete. So on here, just for a base example here, we can go over, today I was just going to go over, say, for like a roofing bid. So you can type in RFP for roofing, for example. Your bid receiving location, all of this will be filtered to your area. So how I have the current department of LSD, I would then select this field. Otherwise, we do allow electronic fields as well. So if you only want to receive your bids online, you can do that, or you can physically receive them at a location. So either one of those options is fine. And this is an optional field for you. And then also here on the solicitation category, this one is kind of nice. You're able to provide a category if you'd like to. Sometimes you're able to like filter or view any of these in VSS, so they do appear here. So if, say, somebody does search for example construction, this could show up for them. So we'll go ahead and just select that one here. And then that's actually all you need to complete on that general information section. Moving over to the contact tab is just going to be your information. All of the users will be provided with their actual user ID link here. So with that, you can put yourself as the actual requester of the document, or these are free form fields as well too. So if you're just the one inputting it, that's totally fine. You can put yourself on here, or if it was a coworker or a boss or a manager that was requesting it, you can hand key in their information here. And upon save, their information will show there. And then we do offer just certain templates. If you have any terms and conditions, you can do so here, as well as schedule of events. These are all kind of optional fields. I do go into further detail with them in our videos, and I can touch base with them at the end here too. But you can click on all of these tabs. I'm just going to kind of touch on the most important ones today, just so we can have time for questions and answers at the end. And then moving on, the next section to complete would be the commodity section. So here you're going to input anything relevant to what you're doing the request for proposal for. So for this example of roofing, for example, it could be landscaping, roofing, anything kind of construction related are normally what the local entities will publish their bids for. So you would just type in any information that you have that you would want to share here. So first, with this commodity section, if you don't know what your commodity code is, that's totally fine. We have the search option here through the names. You can go through all of the commodity codes there, or you can say search for them here. Sigma does use the little asterisks as our wildcards. So if I want to pull back anything with roofing, it would bring back in any of the commodity codes that we have available that have roofing in them. Or for example, if I just did roof, it would bring back anything that included that as well. So we can go ahead here and just select one of these here. And with Sigma, you can do item services. So say if you need to do a certain line for shingles, that's totally fine. If you need to do one for consulting, you can do that, or you can wrap it all into one. Normally with this here, you can add attachments and any of your summary of work, any breakdowns that you want to include, you can add all the attachments with these as well. Based on your line type that you do select, whether it being an item or a service, these fields are optional to enter. So say, for example, if you wanted to say, I'm planning on spending, say, 50 grand for a new like school roof, for example, I can type in this amount here and it would only be just for my reference. So this information does not go over to the vendor at all. So they won't be able to see your bid or that contract amount within the bid. They just know that they, put out their best and final offer. And then you can kind of compare it to what you're budgeting on your end. But if you don't want to enter that field, that's totally fine. Just the same with the unit price and your quantity, that is more than fine to leave blank, as well as with these service from and tos, those are optional. If you wanted this job done, say in the next month or two, you can complete that. That information will go over to the vendor, and we'll be able to see that in VSS. With that, we do have the shipping and billing tab. This is also one of the fields that we would need to complete. And this is all geared towards kind of like how we did on that bid location. On that front one, this is all going to be geared towards your specific department that we created for you. So you will just select the one that is for your option there. And everybody that signs up with one will have everything that's specific to the information that you provided on when signing up. The next one here will be that commodity email push. So here it's going to break down our commodity code into the 3 and the 5 digits here. So any of the vendors that are assigned to either of these two commodity codes will receive a direct notification once the RFP syncs over to VSS. They'll receive a notification saying that this solicitation is now open and available for bids, where then the vendor can then go to VSS and view the solicitation. And if they want to respond, they can do so at that time. And then we do have the publishing section here as well too. So the most important sections on here are going to be the let date, the close date, and the close time. So the let date will be the day that you want your solicitation to sync on the next available cycle. So for example, if I want this to go today, with it being roughly 2:30 and change, this will, as long as we get this posted by 4, this would then sync at the 4 o'clock and be visible to vendors at that time. And then the close date is going to be, when do you want the solicitation to actually close? So whether it's a day, a week, a month, could be 3 months, you just go ahead and input your end date for the solicitation as well as your close time. And one thing that is specific to, and I do call this out in the videos as well too, is with the close time, it is in a military time format. So if you want, say 2:30, it would be 14:30, not 2:30, as in 2:30 a.m. So the system does read it as far as a military time format would go. So if I did want it to close 2:30 p.m. On May 26th, I would input the 14:30 there. Right. And with that, that is actually the 4 sections that are required, or at least you like to touch on, just to make sure that the values are there. So at this time, you can go ahead, and the next steps would be to validate and submit. Once you do submit the document, it will go into a phase up here of final, and then it would sync to VSS on the next available sync cycle. But I do want to touch on just a couple other optional fields, really depending on the locals and kind of like what their base of work is. They utilize these fields, or it might just not be relevant to what they're needing. So we do have a schedule of events tab here. On this section, for example, you can add if you had any like construction walkthroughs or a pre-proposal meeting, this is going to be the section where you can add any of those, where you can add any of that information. Or if you had a close date for your questions and answers, you can add that in here as well. So for example, if we wanted to do, there's like a vendor demonstration, pre-proposal meetings, there's background checks. If you require that by a certain time frame, you just go over to the event date here and then go ahead and select that field there. We do also offer a custom field as well here too. So we'll go ahead and insert a new line. So say, for example, if you just didn't have one that was listed in here, and normally these are just like most commonly used ones that we receive from the group. We do have a custom one here that you can type in any sort of example, and that will hold free there too. So anything that's unique to you, feel free to include that, and that will show to any outward facing vendors. Another section here too is going to be our evaluation criteria line. Here's just going to be if you have any criteria that you like to score any of your bids by. I do know that a lot of like the locals do normally will, if they post their solicitations in Sigma, I know that they're normally awarding in an off system, or they have their own process that they normally use. So if you do use Sigma for any of your evaluations or just to review those responses, we do offer the criteria lines to say where you wanted a project plan or pricing, or you can kind of add your own weighting points to this here just for reference when you are evaluating those bid responses. But again, it's a totally optional field there as well with that schedule of events. And I did just want to touch base here too on the header. If you had any attachments to add, you can definitely do that as well. So under this file section here, there is a paperclip there that shows attachments. So here you can go ahead and upload any documentation, anything that you wanted to see for the vendors. You can go ahead and add that in here. So for example, we will, let's just see. Where did my folder go? Of course. There we go. All right, and you can add, say like a roofing site plan, go ahead and attach that. And it will upload it and show successful once you do add it. With Sigma, we do have a 6 megabyte limit for that. So anything over that 6 megabit file can fail. And then you would just have to break it up into 2 portions or more, depending on how large your file size is. But once your file does upload successfully, you can click done and then return back to your document. And then you'll now see this paperclip here again, that is where your attachment is and is viewable. So you can open and edit that there.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Is just out of curiosity and for confirmation, is this where our state buyers also post all of their and how they post all of their bids?
Yes, yep. The locals do have a more of a limited
Okay.
as far as like requirements go. So it is just more of like a base just for the information, getting it out there to the vendors, and then getting your responses there. But yes, as far as the layout goes, this would be what state users use and how we complete our bids as well. All right. So I am going to go ahead and validate here. So I know I said it before, but these are going to be your last 2 steps where you would validate, which just confirms all the information is entered correctly and nothing was missed. So you will see it validated successfully. And then once we click that submit, it will then note that it's submitted successfully and we're now in final, which is key. So you do have to have a final phase in order to sync over to VSS. So after the 4 o'clock sync completes, this solicitation would be visible to the vendors for that. But I know that was a lot of information. I know I ran through that kind of quick there. So that all that information is shared in the job aid as well as the video tutorials as well there too. So all of this is covered. So you can look back at it again and go through that there.
Plus, we're recording today. So if as they set up a new account, if they want to come in, they can kind of just go through in a slow motion manner and walk themselves through it. So I personally like to go that route when I'm doing something new, especially if I have watched a tutorial. It does help.
Yes.
Looks like I missed one question in the Q&A or in the chat. It says, is there, and I'm not sure if I understand it, but is there a way to receive a bid at an offsite address? Do you know what that means? Or do you need more clarity? Okay.
Yep. So you would have to put that in either on like the notes section or you would have to call it out specifically. So the system we do just set up our receiving locations as what is provided to us. So whatever the address is that is on the account file at a time, we can always add more. So that's not a problem. We would just have to, you just want to contact us back and we can add another receiving location. Or you can always refer to an attachment with an address and just kind of note it within your solicitation to direct any bids that way.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. I think I have it reshared again for slide 9.
Okay, cool. Yep. All right. All right. So yeah. So now we're going to kind of jump into the vendor self-service portion of this. So with VSS, it is our application for the vendors. It allows our vendors to update and manage their information, view business opportunities and grant opportunities, as well as see awarded contracts, as well as accessing their account information and any financial transactions that have occurred. And as we said, with the VSS sync cycle going back and forth, it does interface with Sigma, and those two systems talk back and forth every 2 hours for that. Right. All right, and this is just going to be a screenshot, and then I will go ahead and jump into VSS here. But overall, when we get in there, we'll be able to view any of the business opportunities, and then we'll be able to see the breakdown of the solicitations as far as reviewing their summary, their details, and then also that ability to respond online. And that's going to be all viewed as an actual vendor. So with Sigma Fin, you're in as your local account, you're posting the solicitation. Now we're going over to VSS where I'm now a vendor, or going to be posting on something or just viewing. So we will go ahead and jump to this here. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. Just give me 1 second. Okay, cool. And just let me know if you guys can see. All right, perfect. All right, so this is our vendor self-service page. And actually, if you have that Sigma Locals link, this VSS page is also available on that as well. I do believe you just have to click back to get to the actual vendor section. But we also have vendor help, like help guides there as well. And they have their own vendor tutorials. I know in this PowerPoint, we do provide links at the end here too. So it's definitely covered in that as well. But just to view, so as today, what we can do is we can go ahead and click on this guest access, and this will bring up what Sigma looks like to an actual guest. And this is available to anybody. It is straightly just for viewing. I won't be able to respond to anything because I'm not logged in as an actual vendor. And same as like viewing your account as well. You have to be logged in to view any account information, your transactions, and anything that is pertinent to you. So it does automatically default to the business opportunities and the solicitations tab, which is great for us. Because if you're just going to be looking for any of the state bids or any local entity bids, you can use this keyword search here. So I know, for example, our past one was for roofing, for example. I can search for the word roof, or if you were looking for, fire or something, or, any sort of anything there, you can put in your keyword search and it will bring back any results with those words. So here, for example, is a draft one that I had previously completed. So walkthrough for local entity demo with the request for roofing. So since it was in my document description, that is how it pulled it in for the roofing there. I am able to see that it's for the Lansing School District, which was my example account. That category that we selected for construction is viewable, as well as our document type being that request for proposals there.
Right now, nothing's showing on our screen.
Oh, okay.
It showed on my login, but then it now says the CGI Advantage.
Perfect. Now let's take a look here. Let me know if that helped.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you guys for saying that.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So just as I said here, if you're going to use your search field here, bring back the roofing, for example, it will return any results back that have those keywords in it for you. And then I'm able to see the document description here. My department was for Lansing School District, so that reflects there. So say you were Comstock Park or Durand or something like that, that would all be pertinent to your own account there. We have the user ID and as well as that construction. So that was that solicitation category that we selected. Totally optional, so it can show on some, won't show on others, but if you do put it in, it will show right here. And then just the type of document that you created, so that request for proposal. And then over here, we do have the status as far as if it's open or closed or awarded. So this one is currently open based on the information that we put on that publishing tab. So we had it closing as an outward date, and then it will give you this kind of running clock of the time left for that. So it does give you the days and then a hour, minute, and time breakdown for that. And actually,
Oh,
yeah.
sorry. I was going to say, I have another question that's actually a good one and I don't know it. Is it possible to download the list of vendors that were notified of someone's RFP? Like if somebody did this and they wanted to see who was notified?
You would have to, that would be available in Sigma through that VendNot, from that vendor notification tab. I know you can at least view it there. I'm not sure on the exporting ability.
Okay.
We can always follow up on that one, but I do know you can at least view it. It is searched by, or it leads through with your document ID. So anybody that signed up for the commodity code used on this document would have been sent a notification for it.
Thank you.
And then pretty much the summary tab here, it kind of repeats the information here, but it gives us an overall summary of the solicitation. So it will give you the buyer contact information, their email, their phone number, as well as just a review of who the buyer is, the category, your type, and then that closing time left. And then the details tab is actually what takes you into the solicitation. And this is where if we were logged in as a vendor, this respond online box would be available for us to select. And then they would go through their, for the vendors, it's like a 5-step process that kind of just breaks them through each of those tabs to submit their response. But here we can see any of the commodity lines. So we had our roofing job here. And then you're able to, if you included any of the products, the specs on that, all of this is expandable for you to view there. Any of the attachments will be loaded here, which they can then click and open up and view for their own on that. Any additional information. So this would have been, I know, kind of going back to that one question, if you wanted any responses sent to a certain address, this would have been the tab on that solicitation that you could input that information in, and then it would be forward facing to the vendor. If you had any terms and conditions selected or made any attachments, that would be shown here, as well as any of your criteria and those events, say with like a pre-proposal meeting or something like that, that would all be viewable to the vendor here, as well as questions and answers. It would be a running log of anything that's been asked in VSS that would be shown here, just in case any of the vendors had any questions up to that point. And then as well too, if there's any amendments, say if I posted this 2 weeks ago, but yesterday I forgot to add an attachment, I went back into Sigma and resubmitted it, the amendment history here would show that a new version's been selected as well. So just to show any of the information that's been added to that. But yeah, other than that, once you normally review all the lines, you can either then respond online, which it will then take you right back to log in as your vendor. And then you would be able to locate the solicitation and respond through it that way. But that at least covers like how to view VSS and how to get familiar with that business opportunities and solicitations page there.
And I'll add as well, this is a great spot if a member is interested in seeing some supporting information on a recent solicitation that the state did. So say you're interested in using a certain service or commodity, but you kind of want to know why our buyers selected the vendor they did, where Kelsey just was, is where you can see those attachments. So you can see, additional documents that support that contract, that new contract. So if you've got a board that wants to know, well, who all participated in the bid process, that kind of information is going to be available in here. Another thing I would add is it's also a great place if you're looking to strengthen some of your documents. If you want to strengthen your RFP, come in and take a look at what the state is bidding and using as their RFP to see if there's any language you want to use in your own templates. So yeah, there's the attachments. That's going to give you some additional information. You can come in and look at the terms. I mean, there's a lot in here. I always kind of say there's like just nuggets of gold. It's just a matter of kind of getting comfortable moving around in here and locating things.
Yeah.
I do have a good question. I love these questions. They've actually been very helpful because they're actually giving me more knowledge about it. So after we post an RFP and go through the process and accept a bid, are we supposed to log back into Sigma to list who was awarded the bid, or that bid was awarded in general? Is it required?
That is not required. Nope. So the main purpose for Sigma for the local entities is just to post. So it would be anything with that solicitation process where you would be able to, after posting, if you wanted to see any of the results, or if you wanted to evaluate and review those, you definitely can. But we do not currently have any local entities that are signed up with Sigma to like physically award and say like do a purchase order. Normally all of that is handled in a one-off system from the local entities.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. Okay. Anything else in the VSS?
I don't think so. I think all I had back was our kind of our last page there, and we got some time for questions.
Let me get that last page up for
Yeah.
us. Because that is a page full of a lot of helpful information.
Yes.
Okay, can you see it?
Yep.
All right, there you go. And I did get another question. I apologize, I should have caught it before. Can you show where a local government would attach documents and how it's done?
Yeah.
That would be back on the, I do want to run through these resources first, and then we can just kind of go into Q&A for anyone else that has questions, and you can do show and tell.
Yep. So, I guess like the first two are actually, they're kind of linked together. So the Sigma VSS informational page, you can actually access this government link from that page, but this is going to have the actual VSS link within it. So you can always go to there, get to that guest access, and then view any of your, any of the solicitations from the Sigma VSS link. From the Sigma local entities link, that one, we'll have all the information of our tutorials, that my login link. So you can go here and then create your account from that link within that, as well as view any of our tutorial information in that job aid. And then we have that vendor self-service homepage. So just if you want to go straight to the homepage, not to that informational page, but just straight to that homepage, that is the link that we'll use for that. And then we do have our awesome procurement and VSS support help desk. So they're the ones that help all of the end users, locals and state users, as well as answer any of the emails, phone calls, and handle all of the first contacts with everyone. So this is their information. If you have any questions, definitely feel free to reach out to them, and they will get an answer for you. But they handle all of the any questions and have a wealth of information over there. So they're great to work with.
Okay.
Yeah. And then kind of going back to that, just that question, as far as like adding attachments. So I do have a job aid on that. And it's also covered in the tutorial as well. But if you are in Sigma, we recommend just adding it to the header section. In the bottom right-hand corner, there's a file button that then says attachments. And then you would just browse, select, load it, and then once it loads successfully, it will bring you back to back to your document, and then you can continue to add after that.
Very helpful. All right now we don't have any other questions. If a participant wants to click the raise your hand, I think we have a raise your hand option. I could always try to unmute you. Or you can type in another question. Make sure we answer everything that we possibly can. Yeah. And like I said originally, we will get these slides out to everybody. I'd like to get them out to you today. It just depends on how quick I can get the video. I'd like to send it at the same time as I send the link to the video, so that I'm not sending you more messages than I need to. So it might be tomorrow, but like she said, there's a lot of great resources in here. A lot of it is linked to in the Member Center on the MiDEAL website. So once you go to our homepage, you would just click Member Center, and the Sigma link is in there as well.
Yeah. And
Oh,
like I said,
oh, sorry, I just had a funny question. So.
no, I was gonna say, I know it was a lot of information and it was all packed in an hour. So I don't expect anybody to remember, all of it. So just feel free to just digest it, read through any of the attachments or rewatch the videos. I think I have them all broken down into less than 5-minute videos. So you can just watch them at your own pace, or if you have 2 screens, you can watch and complete as, together. But we have the visual aspects for you and we have the paper. So depending on what works best for you, the options are both there for you. So just feel free to, and then worst case, just contact the help desk and we can help you too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, one of our questions, it's right now the only one is did we win anything for getting question number 3 correct? And
Ooh,
I wish I had fun prizes,
yeah.
but you just get a personal kudos, Michael. So kudos to you.
I can mail you a sucker. Normally I had candy in my office.
Oh, right. I know. I miss the days of getting candy and during meetings. Probably not a bad thing. But.
Yeah, that way if they come in upset, they can always leave happy with the sucker.
Right, that's right. Let's see if I have any other questions. Anybody else? I don't want to end unless we know for sure. I don't see any raised hands or anything. I'm getting a lot of feedback that this has been very helpful, that the tutorials were very useful. And I agree, because personally, it helps me get in the mindset of my members and also the state buyers to understand, the steps that they're taking to post these bids. So I love to learn, and this has been a great experience for me. To our members that are still on the call, we'll have even more programs like this available. So keep an eye out for the next. I know we're going to have some procurement related topics coming up soon in a podcast on our indefinite scope, indefinite delivery. So just always be sure to keep an eye out for those emails when they come through. And Kelsey, I can't thank you enough, and for your team for allowing you to be here with us today. I know you're super busy, but this has been so helpful. And I know it's something that we probably will want to do on a yearly basis, just to make sure everybody is up to date on how to do it, especially once you said those refreshes are done and it's going to have an even better look. So that'll be fun to showcase that.
Yep. The upgrade is definitely in progress. So more information to come on that. But yeah, any way we can help. We always just like work with those job aids. So if anything comes up that works better for you guys are the ones using it. So feel free just to get a hold of us and we can see what we can do for you.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it. You have a great day, everybody. I appreciate you joining us.